Having a look at your lead story at 1 o'clock, an uneasy calm prevails at the University of Hare in the Eastern Cape. The university obtained a court interdict against violence breaking out ahead of the centenary celebrations, which get underway today. Well, students went on the rampage on Wednesday night, damaging buildings and setting tyres alight and a tent alight. 14 students arrested in connection with arson attacks will remain in custody until the 27th of May. Students from various political formations have vowed to disrupt the 100-year celebrations. However, government says it hasn't showed that the celebrations will go ahead as planned. President Jacob Zuma and Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe will deliver the keynote addresses at the main event today. The institution's alumni include Botswana's first democratic president, Seretse Khama, ANC President Oliver Tambo, and Zambia's first president, Kenneth Kaunda.
An important day both for South Africa and for Hare University, but also for the African continent. This is why this particular day of celebrating the centenary was set in May, just 5 days before we celebrate Africa Day, May being Africa Month, because it's not just South Africans who attended this university. It's from all over the continent. I'm really glad that the centenary is being marked in this way and that the government decided through President Zuma that an IMC would be established, which would consist of various ministers whose responsibility was to work closely with the university to ensure that we mark the centenary in the most appropriate manner.
I'm very elated, very happy. It's a joyous moment, it's a historic moment for all of us, not just for me, to have this day actually arriving and realizing the celebration that was supposed to be organized all along. Yes, the protest did take place, fair, but the celebrations could not be stopped. No one can stop the University of Hare going forward. It's a very historic institution. It's got strength, it's got resilience. It can never be put down by anybody.
No matter how genuine the demands may be, by the destruction of properties being condemned in the strongest of terms, when we express our democratic rights that are enshrined in our constitution, we should not violate rights of other people.
We are still not comfortable of what is happening around the campus because there are a lot of police, there are a lot of soldiers, so students are still struggling. They are struggling to be solved by the management. But now I don't see anything which is going to have something else to do with the strike today because there are a lot of police.
Joining us live from Alice is ANN7 reporter Nuri Tlakotsa. Very good afternoon to you, Nuri. Of course, we do know that protests have taken place before the ending of this week, but now we come to the 100-year celebrations. Take us through some of the alumni that will be in attendance this afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Of course, this celebration was marred by protest earlier in the week, but of course, government did say that they will not let the celebrations be disrupted today. And of course, we can see right now that alumni and some members of the public and also some few dignitaries have arrived here at the hall to celebrate this special day. Of course, we do know that this day means a lot to many because of Hare did not only become a place for only black people in South Africa to attend, but this university managed to educate a lot of people, including people around the continent itself. We are expecting, of course, President Robert Mugabe to be here at this hall and address the people as the alumni of this university. The keynote address will be given by President Jacob Zuma also. But I must also say that outside this hall, at the same time as I'm talking to you, students are still protesting outside the gate, demanding that the university listens to their demands. They have said that they will not disrupt these proceedings, but of course they maintain that they will not be part of these celebrations. As it stands, we're still waiting for the president of Zimbabwe and the president of the country to make their way inside the main hall, which is where the event will be held. Of course, we're expecting speeches like we heard earlier on from the Vice Chancellor president of the university, Dr. Tom, who is basically telling us that this has been a memorable university for most. And of course, they are expecting that most of the alumni will take us down memory lane, because we know that mostly, more than anything else, it has bred a lot of freedom fighters like your Utatu Nelson Mandela, Robert Sobukwe, among others, your Governor Mbekis, and of course Z.K. Matthews, who graduated here and later became the professor at this place, and also helped in, of course, writing the Freedom Charter, helped in the writing of the Freedom Charter. So this is a very important day. This 100-year celebration is something that the government says it wants to show off how this school, as Fort Hare University, has helped in grooming a lot of black people during the times of apartheid. And even now, as we see, we still have students that go to the school.
We do know that the initial launch of this week in wanting to celebrate those 100 years was marred by some of those student protests, unhappy there with some of the conditions that they face at the university. Even at one point, hearing from the provincial secretary of SASCO saying that they would be boycotting or not be in attendance of celebrations today. Have you seen students in attendance?
Well, some of the students are here, and of course some of them are even part of the choir that's entertaining the people here at the hall, but also some are just outside the gates of the university, barricading the gates. They were hopeful that the president will be using that gate to enter, and their hope was to block them from entering. So you can see there's two groups right now, some that want the celebrations to continue, and others that are saying that their demands cannot be overridden solely by this protest. But of course, police presence has increased, and I can say that they are trying to calm down the students as they continue with their protests. We're seeing a lot of police. Earlier on, even a water cannon had to be sprayed on some of the protesting students who were trying to make their way here into the main hall, but they were quickly stopped. So we are expecting that the program will start any minute from now. We do know it was initially meant to start at 12:30, but we are seeing some delays.
Thank you very much for taking us through that. Alice in the Eastern Cape, our report on the ground, Nurihlakutsa, with regards to the Fort Hare University marking its 100-year celebrations. Having a look at some visuals coming through via Twitter, we have seen that President Jacob Zuma, as well as Mr. President of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, also arriving there, among with some of the other alumni that will be in attendance in today's proceedings.